Hello.
We both did that. It's funny.
Oh,
Hello, Tren.
hello, Lou. Talk
Oh,
about being in alignment.
oh my God, in alignment. Hey, you want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
So when I have clients come in for their readings, I like to set the mood,
Yeah.
right? And I do it for two reasons. One, it shifts the energy and it's something that allows me to get into the space and the zone and all the things. And 9 times out of 10, a client walks in and goes, "Oh my God, it's so relaxing and peaceful here," right? And I'm like, excellent.
Good.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'd set the tone and the mood, and I'd, saged and had the incense burning and a beautiful candle and, the lighting, all the things. And the client comes in and like, I could feel a melt straight away,
Yes. Yeah,
So
you,
I'm
you
like,
could
oh,
see it.
yeah, excellent. So she makes her way through and goes into the room and has a seat. Should you mind if I record as well? Fuck no, you do what you want. It's
Yeah,
your reading,
yeah,
like, so yeah, so she's recording. And I also have music playing, but I play the music out on my TV screen in the lounge room and I have it up so that you
Yes,
can
you
hear
hear
it,
it.
right?
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful ambience that
Yeah.
it creates, right? So we're in there, we're listening to that, we're doing the reading, we're having a chat, we're finished. I fucking shit you not. She presses stop on her phone for
Yeah.
recording, and guess what happened?
What?
The fucking music out here stopped at the same
Oh
time.
my
And we were
God.
like, oh my God. What the fuck? That's what it's like when
Oh,
you work with me. What can I say?
yeah.
Weird,
Yeah.
spooky.
I know.
Yeah.
I was telling you a story earlier. I did a reading for a lady the other day. And when I do a reading, I hand my rider weight to the client to say, shuffle the cards and then pick a card, but this
Yeah.
will be your energy. While they're shuffling, I
Yeah.
shuffle the light seers and go, I'm just going to see what the other perspective is.
Okay.
We both pulled the Six of Swords.
So you can't
Can't do
make this
that.
shit up, right? You cannot. Hashtag, I
You
seriously
see,
can't make
this
that shit up. So, yeah. Oh my
because it's
God.
just like okay, we are really in alignment. This
Yeah.
reading is going to be really good because you're
Real
really in
alignment.
alignment.
Yeah, yeah. So it's all those weird ass things
Oh,
that happen, right? That
yeah.
let you know, I guess. Yeah, this is right.
Yeah, it is. It really
Yeah,
is. And so take note when those
yeah.
coincidences happen or things like that happen.
And tell us about them
Yeah.
because we'd love to hear what yours are. Like we've got a gazillion to tell you
Oh,
about.
yes.
They're the two that just happened in the last week.
Last week,
But yeah.
just the last week. And the funny thing, we had that reading on the Monday. On the Wednesday, some other lady came in.
Yeah.
I did the same thing. Knight of Swords,
No
both of
way.
us.
Oh,
And I
fuck
went,
off.
oh, come on. I said, no.
I love it when that happens. Eh? 9 of Swords, and they've been swords. And it's funny because there's been a lot of mental energy
Yes.
at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it
like
was like, oh, no, this can't happen.
yeah. So today, back to today's show, what we're doing is we're going to take a deep dive on some of the cards. Now, if you want a deep dive on all of the major arcana, comment and let us know. Otherwise, guess what? We're not doing it. You have to,
No.
you have to let us know
You have to let us know which
if
ones you
that's
want.
what you want, right? And we can do the whole thing. We can do the
Yeah.
whole Phil's journey thing. We've done it briefly
Yeah, we
before,
have,
but
haven't
we're
we?
doing this more of a deep dive. And today's card is the Hierophant.
Because I find him confusing.
A lot of people do.
I
A
do.
lot of people find him confusing.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive deeply in
Yeah.
on the Hierophant.
Yeah. So
So
we're going to, oh, we've got a couple of decks here, but
we
this is the Rider Waite. This is
yes.
the Rider Waite. And even the word Hierophant freaks me
Yeah.
sometimes. It's like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that? What does that mean?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he's been known in different decks as different things, like the priest. He's been known as the priest. There's a couple of other things too. I'm like, what else was he fucking known as? The priest, the Hierophant, and the Pope.
Oh, the Pope.
That's what he's known as.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, the Pope. Yeah. So anyway, let's go. Let's go for a deep dive. All right. So the Hierophant, and a lot of this is based on the Rider Waite. Now we've got a couple of other decks here because these are obviously come out a long time after Rider Waite.
Yeah.
But we're going to see if we can see where the same symbology may be.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
Now,
great
yeah.
to have other decks, but we don't want to lose stuff in the translation.
Exactly.
However, we also need to move with the times because energy is different, right? So the Hierophant may not even apply anymore. It might, in the way that it was originally said.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
However, it's important to respect its history and where all those messages come from, right? Particularly if you use see, feel, and know, right?
Which you all should be doing by now.
Well, yeah, that's just, you know, just a method that we created. I created, definitely. See, feel, know, right? Well, I labelled it anyway.
Yeah.
I think people were doing it, but I don't think they were quite understanding what they were doing. So to the Hierophant, and we are looking at the Rider-Waite deck initially. So what does the Hierophant represent? Let's just throw some words out, right? So dogma. He represents timeless wisdom, knowledge. He can be a teacher, a specialist. He can be the priest. He can represent religion. He can represent faith, right? Structure, tradition, law. Now, interesting. Learned about law today.
Yeah.
L-A-W or L-O-R-E.
Oh, so there's I mean, there is two different spellings, but two different meanings.
They have very different meanings. So,
yeah.
L-A-W, let me just think about this, is legislation. What was the A?
Or advocacy or something, maybe?
Can't remember. No? But the W was where's the fucking Queen's Castle? The Queen's Castle.
Windsor.
Yeah,
Windsor.
like
Windsor Castle?
No, something like that. Anyways, connected with
what the British monarchy sort of thing.
Yes, connected with the British monarchy, right? And all of that stuff.
That's interesting.
But law, L-O-R-E, was about land, origin, I think it's ritual, and I can't remember the E. I'll have to go and look that up and let you know. We'll type that in. Yeah. We'll add a thing on. That's the difference, right?
That's really interesting. I just thought, I always thought law was like storytelling and what's being passed down, but that's completely different to what I thought it was.
Well, it can be part of, because it's your origins, right? Which is what the O is. It's the origin. So it is a bit about that. But so, and I'm just going to share this for a second. I learned today anyway, that like law, if you're looking at tribal community, right? And something happens, somebody does something and they're being passed before law, L-A-W, they're normally not as scared as that. But if you were to judge someone via tribal law, that's completely different, isn't it? So
that's more scary.
Right. So interesting. So these are the kind of changes that we might see through the cards themselves over time, right? So the Hierophant, back to what I was supposed to be doing, bright shiny things, is about like tradition and law, but it talks about L-A-W, right? That kind of law, and customs, rituals. Can be a guidance, can be a counsellor, can be religion, as I said before, but it also represents like powerful organisations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it can be an organisation, and therefore clubs and gangs, mafia. Right? Who'd have fucking thought?
I would not have thought of that.
Yeah, mafia, right? But it can be military government, education also, right? Dogma, remember? Yeah. So that kind of thing. Now, the number 5 itself, and hold this up here, can relate to spiritual guidance, and it just happens to be like a bit of a spiritually card, right? Now, the shadow. Let's look at the shadow of the Hierophant, right? Or some people say reverse. Well, it can be reversed, but it's also a shadow. Shadow's a little bit different, but it can be both, right? So we're looking at oppressive institutions. Yes. So religion. So a few years ago, I'd say we were pretty repressed by all these organisations.
Well, we were, weren't we? Well, quite literally the last couple of years, we were.
We were, right? So that's what that is about. So it's the Hierophant in the shadow would be using restriction and limitation.
Or constraints, isn't it?
Yeah, reducing your freedoms, that kind of thing, and your growth. Restricting and limiting your growth, which is about what education you're allowed to receive and all of that, right? Knowledge, right? Because upright in the light side of the positive version, he's all about timeless knowledge, right? You turn him upside down, he's going to suppress all that, take it away, squash it, right? So last 4 years, all I'm
Yeah.
saying. Anyway, so upside down can also be rebellion, ignorance, challenging. You can be a challenging tradition, right? Where it's like, I'm not fucking doing this shit anymore.
Yeah.
So it can be about that. It's about conformity. Up the right way, it's about conformity. So you're going to be looking at that and going, do I really want it?
Well, yeah, bucking the system a little bit, aren't
Bucking
you?
the system, right? In the reversed.
Yeah.
So speaking of conformity, we want to belong, right? We want to belong as humans. That's
Yeah,
what we
wanna
want.
fit, don't we?
We do. We want to fit.
Mm.
So a sense of belonging and power. It's about rules, ideology, and that one must conform, right? That's what it's saying. And the Hierophant back in the day would ask us to pledge allegiance.
Yeah.
Right? So it's that kind of thing. So a question, if the Hierophant comes up. Question I've written down. Do you no longer choose to conform? Right? What is your relationship to conformity?
Okay.
So you start to challenge yourself when it comes up. Oh, do I not want to conform? Or
Are you happy to keep following?
am I happy to keep following? Yeah. And what does it feel like to you to conform?
To conform.
What does it feel like not to conform? Make a different choice, right? And then is it time for a conventional path?
Okay.
So, the path less, what is path less traveled?
Less traveled.
Is that
the road less traveled?
The road less traveled,
Yeah.
yeah. Is that it for you, right? Is that where you're at? So they're questions to ask yourself when the Hierophant arises, right? The Hierophant overall is a good teacher, and a good teacher will help you access the answers that lay within you yourself.
Yeah.
So if you're with a teacher who is, or a spiritual guidance or counselor or whatever, who is giving you all the answers and sort of pushing that down your throat, that's not what that is.
Not learning, is it?
Not learning. It's not what it's about. Where's the growth in that for you? You can, you might take it and apply it and learn that way. But the best way is for you to figure that out, and for the teacher or guidance person to pull that out of you. Right?
Allow you to find it yourself.
Absolutely, right? So that's what that's about. So there is a time to be a rebel.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Just ask me about
is.
that. Yeah, there's a time to be a rebel. And there's also a time to take the well-worn path or to conform, right? So the Hierophant does not continuously offer protection, certainty, or a safe plan.
Well, no, he couldn't, could he? Because, no, he couldn't.
That's right.
You're making the decisions.
That's right. He is reminding us of that, right? Even though we feel like we have to conform, it's still our decision.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So he will engage us to figure things out for ourselves. So he is a guide. Yeah. Right? He is a guide. And I'll just turn over my little book here because I've got a lot of stuff to go through. We're just going to look at a few symbols on the Rider-Waite. On the Rider-Waite. We're going to look at the crown, which is actually a tiara. If I get out of the way, does that?
No, it's
still blurry.
Still blurry.
Okay. Get your cards out and have a look at the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite deck, and you will see that that crown, in fact, has 3 tiers to it. So 3 levels of rule is what that's referring to. You can be the supreme teacher, the pastor, or a priest. Right?
Okay.
That's that. And then you've got the jurisdiction is the next level. Right, we talked about law before. Right. Yeah. So that speaks to the Commonwealth and the laws around that. And then we have worldly and temporal power. Right. So then we have that. Can also represent like Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Trinity, all of that. Whenever you see a layer of 3, what is it? The self, the ego, and the id, right? There's all of that stuff as well that comes into play. Now we look at his robes. There's actually 3 robes that dude is wearing. You'll see the blue
up around his
throat. Yeah. And you'll also notice it down towards the bottom near his shoes, right? So he's got that underneath. Then he's got the white robe on. Then he's got the red robe on top of that. So that's 3. There's your 3 again, right? Holy Trinity, right? So that's what that's talking about. Again, three levels, 3 layers. That's talking about. Now we're going to look at this here. Some people call it a stick, believe it or not. It's not a fucking
It's not a
stick,
stick,
but they
no.
call it a stick.
No, it's not a stick.
It's actually called, I didn't write that down, it's a papal cross. Now, interesting here, because you'll see that again, there's 3 bars on that
cross.
See, 1, 2,
Yeah.
3. 3 bars there. Again, Holy
3,
Trinity.
yeah.
It's a 3, right? Now, if you were to see a papal and it only had 2 on it, then that would be representing the archbishop.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So 1 level down.
1 level down, right? This is the Hierophant with the 3 bars, which represent the Holy Trinity. So he talks about church, heaven, and the world. That's what that's about.
Okay.
We're going to look at the priests and the monks. So the priest and then the monks, right? So the monks on the card there are in front, the 2.
Yep.
The 2 in front here. So this represents the passing down of the wisdom. So we're going from the priest to the monks, right? That's what that's talking about. So it's also a rite of passage. And you'll notice here there's the pillars, which whenever I see pillars, that's how I see that as a rite of passage. Goes through threshold. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what that's talking about. Now, the hand signal, you'll see, just with his blank hand. He's fucking hand that isn't holding the papal. That one. Oh my God.
His free hand.
His free hand. Me, Trina. God help me. His free hand.
He's sort of going like this, isn't he?
It's a gesture.
Yeah, like that.
Right?
So he's got 2 fingers up and 3 down.
Yeah, he's got 2 down and his thumb, right?
Yeah.
So that actually is a blessing of the benediction. That is actually a real thing.
A real thing.
A blessing of the benediction. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit.
So he's like that.
Yeah. So it's the blessing, right?
Again, 3, isn't it?
And yes. And that's because that's the bridge between heaven and earth.
Oh, okay.
2 fingers up, 2 fingers down. Guess what else that means? As above.
So below.
So below. As within, so without. Right?
And it's not the 2 fingers we normally know.
Yeah.
It's not those.
It's not those. Oh, it's not those. Right? So that's what, hold that thought. I just store that for a minute, right? So then we look at the keys.
Keys right down the bottom. So it's on the little, I always think it's a chest, but he's actually seeing it's like on an altar or something like that, but the keys down the bottom. The
keys are there, right? So the keys remind us that there's mastery of the mundane, right? And the spiritual. So it's mastery of that, right? That you hold the keys you need. And it's also like the key to the conscious and the subconscious minds, right? That's what that's about. And it's unlocking mysteries.
Yeah, well, quite definitely, isn't it? You've got the key.
You've got the key, right? So that's what it is. So as I said, I'm going to talk about the pillars now. So the pillars are the threshold that I said before, but they also represent liberty and law.
Law again.
Liberty and law. Can't speak today. Obedience and disobedience. Right?
Now, so it's conformity and not, isn't it?
It's conformity and not. Now, I forgot to get another card out, so I'm going to search for this because when you see it, you won't unsee it. It's one of those things.
No, well, I don't know if you've got this, but I just noticed he had 3 crosses going down that white bit.
There you go. No, I didn't have that.
Center of his robe, he has a white strip, and there's actually 3 crosses on there, which I had not noticed before.
There you go. So it's really important. The number 3 with this
3 is very important, isn't it?
The trilogy.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I can't speak. Trinity. You know what I'm saying, right? So yeah, that is very important on there. Where is this bloody card? Like, oh my God.
When you want it, you can't find it.
There it is.
When you don't want it, it's there.
Yeah. Now we spoke about the hand gesture.
Yeah.
Right, and how important that is. Have a go at this dude. Look at his hand.
Has he got the same
He's got the
gesture?
same fucking gesture. So this is the 10 of swords for
Swords.
those who are listening. And the 10 of swords has a person laying on the ground with all the swords in their back and the hand gesture being the same, or he's doing this. See
Yeah.
that? Look at that.
He is too.
Right. So what the fuck has that got to do with the Hierophant,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Think about the Hierophant, right? It's the connection between heaven
Heaven and earth.
and
isn't it?
earth. This card can mean death
Mm.
of something,
Yeah.
right? So you would want to connect
Yeah.
the difference
The
between
difference,
heaven and
yeah.
earth, right? And here, all that yellow is the sun that's rising, so it's the birth of a new day, therefore rising up
Rising up.
again, right? So that when you see that symbol now, you'll know, oh, hang on,
It's connection.
there's a connection here. And also because it's a blessing, right? It's the blessing of the benediction,
Yeah.
but the blessing. So even though this looks like a shit card,
It's a horrible
and a
card.
horrible time, it is in fact a blessing.
So obviously when we see this card, the 10 of swords, something has finished that needed to finish. And
Absolutely.
you see it as a blessing, not as a curse.
Absolutely.
Not as, something
Yeah.
disastrous.
So there you go. So, and it's severing ties to an old belief system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right. So severing ties to an old belief system. Okay. So the Hierophant is governed by Taurus and ruled by Venus.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought Venus.
Oh, I know, me either, but apparently it is. So, yeah, he was also known as the High Priest or the Pope, which was said before. Now that he is, this is the bit that got me, the masculine counterpart of the High Priestess. I know, right? I wouldn't have thought that, but it is, right? Because it's that.
Oh, that spiritual.
I was just going to say
The
it's that
spiritual-
spiritual
yeah,
connection, right?
yeah.
Because the High Priestess is that,
It's
right?
that,
She's
yeah.
feminine, he's masculine, so it kind of makes sense.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to a yes or no answer, the Hierophant is neutral.
I was going to say he'd be a maybe, wouldn't he?
He is. He's a maybe. He's not a yes or a no, but he is the embodiment of political and spiritual power. So if he's reversed, yeah, right.
Yep.
Look out, right? So here's some questions for you. Are you sticking to the usual way of doing things, or are you ready or needing to change things up?
Mm.
So there's lots of questions to reflect upon here.
When he comes out.
When he comes out, yeah. And is it actually better for you to follow social structure
Or follow your own.
or not?
Yeah. Follow your own, what you feel, what you
What
trust.
you feel, what
Yeah.
you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that this has
Yeah.
made sense for you, and I hope that that's taken you a little deeper so that you can see all the other symbols on that Hierophant, right? Now we're just going to quickly look at the others.
So we've got the dragon deck, the dragon tarot.
We're going to do a bit of a comparison
Yeah.
here. So we have the two monks.
So we've got the two down here.
Yeah, see that? Those two down there, right? Now, the Phoenix is all about the rebirth, right?
The rising up.
The rising up, and the rising up because you're elevated, you're taking an elevated position because he's gone up the stairs on that.
So he's gone right up. So he's really on top of things.
Yeah, he is. Now there's a snake on that, right?
There is.
So the snake can represent a number of things depending on how you feel about it, right? Because a snake can be the temptation. Remember the whole religious thing? Yeah. So it can be that. But the snake is also very healing and it's shedding of the skin.
Yeah.
Now remember that this dude here,
the 10 of swords.
The 10 of swords is rising up for a new day, and the key to that there is here, like the blessings that this has become. And the blessing is also on the card itself with the just here.
Yeah.
Right. So it speaks to the blessing. So the snake can be that on this.
Exactly. And then we have the light seers deck. And this has got a completely different feel.
Totally.
There's so much joy in this, but again, it's still got
the elevation. Yeah.
The elevation of moving up.
Rising up. And see the light at the top, right?
Yeah.
So the light is like, it is the connection to God or heaven or love or whatever else. So you can see some of the symbols
He's actually got the symbol on his shirt, the three.
Let's show that. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see, but see the three crosses like on the Rider-Waite, the
Which is
cross.
just here.
Yeah, so you can see it on his shirt. So he has got that connection to three on the light seers.
Yeah, Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yeah.
So he definitely has that. So
Really
at
look
all
into
of
them.
your cards
Yeah.
and the whole of your card and see what's in there, and then go for a bit of a wander through the deck and see if you can find similar symbols or the same symbols on different cards, like on them, like we've done here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you wouldn't think that those two would have anything to do with each
Not
other,
at all.
and yet
Completely different, aren't
and
they?
yet they do, because it's, well, you can, let me tell you, when you feel like this with just the Ten of Swords, you certainly can suddenly fucking find religion. So,
Yeah, exactly. And we all go, oh God, come on, help me.
yeah. So yeah, sorry, I'm just being legit. But, yeah. Anyway, that was today's little podcast.
Deep dive into the
Deep
Hierophant.
dive on the Hierophant. Yeah, see, I think
Yeah.
trend for the words, because like I just
But yeah, it's like he's been quite interesting, isn't he? It's like
He has
he's
been
not just, and
really
it's not
interesting.
just for me. For me, I quite often go, oh, like it's religion, it's church, but it's not.
Well, it is, but it's
But it's
not.
not. But
Yeah,
it's not. There's so much more.
So
There's
much more. Oh, yeah. And the lilies and the roses, right? I find it really interesting. Bit of trivia for you. So there was a deck that was created, I think, was it Pamela did it herself? Lilies and roses. And when you go through the Rider-Waite deck, there's a lot of lilies and roses, right? So the roses are the love, and the lilies, the roses can be love along with other things, and the lilies can be the spirituality or the connection to spirit, right?
Oh,
So yeah, right. So yeah, all these different things that
you could just
show.
The more you look, the more you see.
Yeah.
You know, so just don't take things at face value, really. Don't just go, oh, he just means, you know, government, or he's a teacher. He's so much more.
He is so much more than that.
More than that.
You know, and the blue, like even on his robes here, like the blue is about communication, right? It's that throat chakra and communication, right? So it's about that. You'll see the crosses on his little shoes, right? So he's walking his faith, right? So there's all of these little things that mean so much more than just a Hierophant that represents, you know, law and conformity and structure. So much more. So yeah, dive deep. Dive deep on all your cards. So let us know what you think about the deep dive series, and whether we turn it into a series or we don't.
And if you want to do a deep dive on a particular card, let us know as well.
Let us know, send it in, because otherwise, we're not doing it. So yeah, but anyway, and I read somewhere that the robe on here, particularly the red, is connected to Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, see, Taurus is really earthy, right? Really rich, earthy.
What is Taurus, the bull?
Taurus is the bull, and it's our base chakra, earth grounded, right? So so much we could go on with, but anyway, that's all we got time for today, folks.
So I hope you enjoyed that.
We do hope you enjoyed that. Let us know, like, comment, share, all of the things. Of the things. And remember, if you want to know and look at your tarot a little differently, get your tarot tells, right?
And also tarot tells, Lou's about to offer her tarot tells online workshop,
online version. So it's a little mini tarot tells taster. So it'll be online. You want to know more about that, reach out. I'm happy to connect you. But just go to lulufletcher.com.au and check it out. Check it out. There's free meditations on there. There's a whole lot of free tarot content, and of course then there's the other workshops that you can dive into and have a good look around on the website.
Yep, that's lulufletcher.com.au.
Yeah. All right. We hope you have enjoyed this.
Yes.
And we will catch you beautiful folk, as I say, next time.
Next time.
Big love.
See you later.
Bye.